Welcome back. I'm Dr. Elise Martin. As we come to the end of this book, I want to take a moment to slow down with you, not to introduce anything new, but to look clearly at what we've already uncovered together. From the very beginning, we've explored autism through many lenses: digestion, peptides, hormones, cellular signaling, circadian rhythm, the microbiome, adaptive feedback, and development across the lifespan. Each chapter added detail, but none stood alone. And that, in many ways, is the point. Because autism has never been a single problem waiting for a single solution. It has always been a system, dynamic, adaptive, and deeply responsive to its internal and external environment. This final chapter is about integrating that understanding into a new way of thinking, one that replaces urgency with orientation and confusion with coherence. For decades, autism has been approached through narrow frames. Sometimes it is treated as a behavioral disorder, sometimes as a genetic condition, sometimes as a psychiatric diagnosis, sometimes as a neurological impairment. Each of these perspectives captures something real, but none of them capture the whole. What we've seen throughout this book is that when digestion slows, behavior changes. When signaling stalls, mood and cognition shift. When rhythm breaks down, the nervous system compensates, often in ways that look maladaptive from the outside, but make perfect sense internally. The labels change depending on which part of the system is under the most strain, but the underlying dynamics remain remarkably consistent. One of the most important shifts this model offers is a reframing of what autism is. Rather than viewing it as a condition defined by missing abilities or broken pathways, we've explored autism as a condition shaped by timing, sequencing, and regulation. Signals are present, but they arrive out of order. Hormones are produced, but without proper rhythm. Neurotransmitters exist, but without stable support. When timing breaks down, the system adapts. It slows itself. It conserves energy. It reduces demand. Stimming, rigidity, withdrawal, and sensory sensitivity are not random failures. They are regulatory strategies used by a system trying to survive under chronic load. When we see this clearly, the narrative shifts from correction to understanding. Much of the historical response to autism has centered on control. Controlling behavior, controlling outcomes, controlling deviation from expectation. But complex biological systems do not respond well to force. Throughout this book, a different posture has emerged: collaboration. Instead of asking how to suppress output, we ask what upstream pressure is driving it. Instead of pushing activation, we restore sequence. Instead of escalating intervention, we protect rhythm. This approach does not abandon structure or rigor. It simply recognizes that regulation arises more reliably from alignment than from pressure. Another essential insight woven through these chapters is the role of environment, not as background, but as signal. Light, food timing, sound, movement, sleep, social rhythm. These are not secondary considerations. They are continuous inputs that shape cellular behavior and nervous system tone. When the environment is unpredictable, the system remains vigilant. When the environment becomes rhythmic and interpretable, the system relaxes. That relaxation is not passive. It is what allows digestion to resume, signaling to flow, and learning to consolidate. This model does not promise dramatic transformation. Instead, it reframes progress in quieter, more sustainable terms. Progress may look like fewer crashes rather than constant highs. It may look like shorter regressions instead of sudden breakthroughs. It may look like improved recovery rather than symptom elimination. These shifts are easy to miss if we are only watching for milestones. But they matter deeply. They signal a system that is no longer fighting itself. Another cultural assumption this model challenges is the idea that ongoing support represents failure. In biology, support is normal. Vision requires lenses. Blood sugar requires regulation. Sleep requires darkness and rhythm. For many individuals on the autism spectrum, signaling stability requires continued scaffolding, especially during periods of growth, stress, or transition. That scaffolding is not weakness, it is adaptation. And as margin grows, the need for support often changes naturally. For families, this framework offers orientation. It helps make sense of why progress is nonlinear, why regression can follow growth, why interventions work for a time and then need adjustment. It restores trust in the body's intelligence and replaces panic with patience. Most importantly, it allows families to stop asking, "What are we doing wrong?" and begin asking, "What is the system telling us now?" For clinicians, this approach offers integration. It allows biochemical, behavioral, and developmental observations to coexist without contradiction. It explains why escalation often fails and why sequencing matters more than intensity. It supports a move away from rigid protocols and toward adaptive care, grounded in observation, timing, and respect for individual variation. Autism is not static. It evolves across childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. It responds to stress, environment, health, and support. This book does not attempt to finish that story. It offers a map, one that helps interpret what is happening, decide what matters next, and intervene without breaking trust with the system itself. I want to return to the idea that has quietly guided every page of this book. Healing does not begin when the body is corrected. It begins when the body is understood. When we recognize autism not as a fixed deficit, but as a dynamic system shaped by rhythm, environment, and signaling, everything changes. Struggle becomes communication. Regression becomes guidance. Progress becomes sustainable. Reclaiming rhythm does not erase difference. It allows capacity to emerge. And capacity, nurtured patiently, respectfully, and wisely, is where hope truly lives. Thank you for taking this journey with me to push our thinking outside of the current boundaries. Before we close this series, I want to look forward for a moment. Because what we have covered in this series is not the end of the autism story. It's the foundation. Throughout this book, we've returned again and again to the same pattern, a system that doesn't collapse but gradually tightens, a system that compensates, slows, and protects itself as pressure accumulates across digestion, immune signaling, peptide regulation, metabolism, and timing. That pattern is not linear, it's spiral-shaped. Each turn of the spiral represents another layer of compensation. Digestion slows, peptides accumulate, immune signaling becomes ambiguous, methylation congests, neurotransmitter balance destabilizes, circadian rhythm flattens, and somatostatin quietly tightens its grip to conserve energy and suppress demand. The body is not failing in this process, it is surviving. The spiral is not pathology, it is adaptation under chronic load. When we talk about unwinding the spiral, we are not talking about forcing it backward. We are talking about reducing pressure at each layer, so the system no longer needs to protect itself so aggressively. As digestion improves, fewer peptides escape. As peptide load drops, immune signaling becomes clearer. As immune ambiguity resolves, somatostatin tone softens. As the brake releases, CAMP signaling resumes. As signaling resumes, neurotransmitters stabilize. As rhythm returns, the nervous system relaxes. This is not a single intervention, it is a sequence. And sequence matters because somatostatin is not released by command, it is released by safety. Throughout this book, somatostatin has appeared again and again, not as an enemy, but as a guardian. It slows digestion, suppresses hormones, flattens cellular signaling, reduces metabolic demand. When the system perceives uncertainty, somatostatin stays elevated. When the system begins to trust that signals will complete, that digestion will finish, that inflammation will resolve, that rhythm will hold, the brake eases. Unwinding the spiral is, at its core, the process of convincing the system that it no longer needs to stay braced. And that conviction can only be earned, not imposed. One of the most important things to understand about the spiral is that it does not unwind all at once. Each turn releases a little pressure. Each gain exposes a deeper layer. Each improvement changes the system's needs. This is why progress often comes in waves. Why regression sometimes follows growth. Why timing and pacing matter more than intensity. The spiral model explains this without blaming the body, or the person supporting it. This content and other content on this channel is for informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult with a healthcare professional before making any changes to your health routines or treatment regimen. The chapters that follow this book, whether as future episodes, companion volumes, or deeper explorations, will look at autism from unusual and novel perspectives. We'll explore topics such as how somatostatin interacts with specific signaling hubs like adenylyl cyclase and calcium timing, how astrocytes, microglia, and their signaling shape the autism spiral, how stress, trauma, and sensory overload tighten or loosen specific turns, how targeted interventions can be matched to where the spiral is most constrained, how quinolinic acid at the end of the kynurenine pathway is good, bad, and necessary. But what does that mean for autism? How NMDA receptors and AMPA receptors may be a key to understanding more about autism. Could the ratio of NMDA receptors to AMPA receptors be linked to stimming, coordination, motor skills, and balance? What roles do they both play in our neural networks? It seems the more you understand about autism, it leads to more questions, and you start asking, where is the system still holding its breath, and what else do I need to know? I will add a link in the description for an article is titled, The Autism Spiral, a multi-system mechanistic model of autism spectrum disorder. The spiral model does not promise a cure. It offers something more realistic and more humane, a way to understand why the system slowed down, a way to respect the intelligence behind that slowing, and a way to gently, patiently invite the system back into motion. When pressure decreases, the brake releases. When the brake releases, signaling returns. And when signaling returns, capacity returns. Not because the body was fixed, but because it was finally allowed to move again in rhythm.